You good? No? You don't know? What's up, witches? Today I'm bringing you a very special video wherein I will be presenting to you a little skit of my own making, where I basically try to summarize one of my favorite stories from the Poetic Edda, which is Harbardsljod, which translates into something like the Lay of Greybeard, or the Tale of Greybeard. But I'm calling it Odin the Sassy Ferryman, or the world's oldest rap battle, or what I believe may be the world's oldest recorded your mom joke. So stay tuned. So Thor is returning home after a long journey, and he needs to get across a river. He then proceeds to get taunted by Odin in disguise as Harbard the Ferryman. And this entire story can basically be summed up thusly.
Hey, Benny! Looks to me like you're on the wrong side of the river!
And a couple of interesting questions arise from this random story included in the Eddas, such as, why doesn't Thor have his chariot drawn by goats? Why does he even need to cross the river on a ferry at all? This leads me to believe that perhaps while comedic on the outset, when examined further, it might be perhaps some type of metaphor or allegory, because Thor's home is in Asgard. But I've also seen it stated elsewhere that his chariot and his goats are too heavy to cross on the Bifrost Bridge with everyone else. So that could be why he has to cross this river, because there is said to be also like a river or a waterfall separating Midgard from the lands of the gods and Asgard. So this could be some type of metaphor where Odin is testing Thor while in disguise in order to make Thor prove his worth in order to re-enter this godly domain, along with just being Odin and wanting to fuck with him a little bit. So we're going to go through here, and I've basically rewritten and summarized all the stanzas in layman's terms and kind of comedic terms, and I'm going to just present to you this little skit that I wrote. Thor's on one side of the river, and Greybeard is on the other, and Thor asks Greybeard for a ride across, and in return he promises him all kinds of things, including a good home-cooked meal in return. And Odin/Greybeard opens with the world's oldest your mom joke. You're already proud of your feats this morning, but while you boast of your breakfast, you don't know the future. Your homecoming could be sorrowful, for all you know. Your mom might be dead.
Their parents are dead.
Dude, that's like way harsh. Yeah, well that's rich coming from someone who looks like he's so poor he can't even afford real pants. Thor then asks Greybeard who the owner of this ferry is. Basically, he wants to speak to the manager. Greybeard answers that the owner is Hildolf, the Killing Wolf, and that he has been ordered to give no rides to any robbers or thieves, but only worthy men, a.k.a. only noble and worthy people are granted entry into Odin's realm. Thor now reveals his own noble lineage. I am Odin's son, Mele's brother, and Magni's father, warrior of the god. What's your name, bro? Harbard am I, and seldom do I lie about that. Why would you even need to lie about that unless you yourself were a criminal in hiding? Even if I'm not a criminal, I would still hide my true name from the likes of you. Oh yeah? Well, you're lucky I can't come over there. I'd make you eat those words. Come at me, bro. You're no match for me. I fought giants like Hrungnir and won. What have you done that's so great? I fought for 5 years with Fjolvar. We waged war, killed lots of dudes, and wooed lots of ladies. Then for stanzas 17 and 18, Odin just continues to brag about all the women he's slept with, including a mysterious 7 sisters. In return, Thor brags about killing Thiazi, although I'm pretty sure in that story it was actually Loki leading him into a giant bonfire, and also brags about killing Alvaldi's son, which is either also Thiazi or could be a reference to Alvasmal. He also refers here to placing the giant's eyes in the sky as stars. In turn, Odin brags about more of his sexual conquests, such as them who ride by night, and were said to ride wolves, and here this could refer either to witches or Jotun or troll women, because they're kind of interchangeable in terms of referring to women or beings with sorcery or magical crafts. He also boasts about winning a magic wand from the giant sorcerer Hlebars, and says that he stole his wits away. Thor then calls out Greybeard for the shadiness of these actions, but Greybeard replies that it's a dog-eat-dog world. Thor then boasts that if not for him, there would be no humans left on Midgard because giants would have overrun it by now. In Valand I was, and wars I raised. Princes I angered, peace brought never. The noble who fall in the fight go to Odin. Thor gets the thrall. So this is Odin throwing even more shade here by saying that while he gets all of the noble and courageous warriors who fall in battle, whoever dies in battle and isn't chosen by Freya or Odin, aka like the dregs of society or lowest of the lowborn, are the ones who get to go live with Thor in Thor's Hall. And in stanzas 25 through 27, Odin continues to taunt and insult Thor, calling him a coward and referencing the story of his encounter in Jotunheim with the giant Fjalar. We all know you were really hiding from that giant Fjalar when you were sheltering inside his glove. In fact, I heard you were too scared to even fart, lest the giant find you. You're lucky I can't come over there. I'd feed you a knuckle sandwich. You mad, bro?
Calm down, just calm down. Calm down, just calm down.
Thor then goes on to boast more about fights that he's won. Odin goes on to brag more about women he's won, and says that he gladdened the gold-decked one in the east, which could perhaps be a reference to Menglod or some giantess, or it could be Odin saying he banged the sun. In stanzas 32 through 36, Odin reveals that he could have used Thor's help holding the woman down, and Thor claims that he would have if he'd been there. I might have trusted you if you hadn't betrayed your promise to me before. Thor boasts that while Odin was off doing that, he was busy killing berserkers' brides. But Odin counters that killing women is nothing to brag about. They were wolves, hardly women. They broke my ship when I landed ashore and threatened me with iron rods. Side note, could also be a reference to satyr women who were known to carry staffs or distaffs of metal or iron. Greybeard then reveals that he was in fact there for that battle at the head of the opposing army. Where did you learn such hateful speech? From men. Thor then again threatens Odin / Greybeard that he will be sorry should he decide to ford the river. Oh yeah? Well, your wife is cheating on you. Maybe you should be mad at that guy instead. You're a liar! You're just trying to make me mad! Man, if only you could cross this river, you'd be home by now and could see for yourself. Thor then asks Greybeard for directions to the nearest crossing, since he can't ride the ferry, and is given the worst MapQuest directions ever. Upon doing so, they exchange parting fuck yous. So what can we take away from this brief yet comedic exchange between father and son? Thor somehow never quite manages to find out, or at least doesn't call out Odin as being Odin during this conversation, but throughout their exchange, Odin is slowly dropping hints about his true identity, calling himself Father of Hosts, battle god, claimer of the slain, speaker with the dead, alluding to all of these things that he does, and all of these stories and instances that Thor would be aware of. So Odin's purpose here, like I said in the beginning, may be to test Thor in a fighting or battle of wits, and make him prove himself worthy to cross the raging river between Gladsheim, Valhall, and Midgard. You know, he might just be occasionally testing Thor to prove his worth, proving that he is worthy of being Odin's son and worthy of dwelling in Asgard with the other gods, and just, yeah, kind of making him talk himself up a little bit and brag about his deed before he can cross over into Odin's domain. And might just be an allegory for how every man and human on Midgard will be tested thusly in order to see if they're worthy of crossing into the realms of the gods in the afterlife. For a very comedic skit and modern presentation, like memification, that I wanted to do for this, I got a surprising amount of insight when taking notes to make this video, and perhaps what I would like to think of as a little bit of a download from Odin himself, which I will share with you. And so I will leave you with these words of insight from the Allfather on Harbardsljod. For Balder would not now dwell in Asgard with him again, and even Thor must now be tested, so that he will be ready on the day of Ragnarok. So with those parting words as food for thought, I hope you enjoyed this brief little interlude, and until next time, stay classy, pagans.